But getting back to the real world for a second, so we did have some announcements last week. There were a number of earnings calls and related CEO messaging that was pretty interesting to listen to. And we're going to start by talking about one of the companies we have covered probably most often at This Week in Enterprise Tech, ServiceNow. So obviously, when they did their earnings, Bill McDermott, tech superstar, came out to gave his opening remarks to the financial analyst audience in the earnings call. And one of the interesting things that you pointed out here, Ken, was about how ServiceNow was announcing CRM deals. Now, they'd been talking a little bit about entering the CRM market, but now they're talking about actually closing some deals here, which is a bit different from what we're used to hearing from ServiceNow as an ITSM and workflow company.
Yeah. Well, so having watched ServiceNow for a long time and talked with a lot of CIOs about the relatively high cost of the platform, its earnings announcement has a lot of good news in it for the company,
Mhm.
specifically looking at all the deals over $1 million dollars in annual contract value and subscription growth exceeding analyst expectations.
Mhm.
I would say that they're starting to get a lot of things right. So number one, focus on the platform, taking advantage of the common capabilities to build out vertically integrated offerings.
Mhm.
It's a very smart play. And I think that this harkens back to some of the things that they had done in earlier years, like the beginnings of the financial close application, where they're really focusing on what role is it that they're going to serve
Mhm.
and what are the required capabilities that they need to be making available. So staying close to the use case, I think that's really smart. And then targeting the key adjacencies that they want to expand into. They're able to go relatively deep because of the nature of the platform. And unlike what I would call like the Microsoft days of old, where you introduce something in a new area, but it's crippled,
Mhm.
it doesn't give you all of the capabilities because, well, you're still kind of sorting your way through how the area works and what capabilities are really required. Uh, they now have a leg up on being able to provide something which is actually a lot more robust because of the nature of the platform. So
Mhm.
it's not just the surface treatment of the application. And I also think that their experience around being able to offer developer capabilities to use the platform and service-led experience is as a way of co-creating new capabilities. It's very, very smart and provides them with a really good set of proving grounds to go through, extract new ideas, and then turn those into products. So I'm predicting that this year at Knowledge is going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah, I one of the things that I've really loved about ServiceNow throughout the years is their consistency in having a single platform across all the capabilities that they provide.
Yeah.
And as basic as that sounds, and as much as every vendor says that they are a platform, it's actually really difficult to take the
Yeah.
effort to re-platform acquisitions that and bring them onto a platform, sometimes taking a year or 2 years to fully launch new acquisitions
Yeah.
again, because they have stayed very consistent about saying we are going to have a platform approach. Everything is going to work on the ServiceNow data platform. Everything is going to be serviceable with ServiceNow activities going forward, activities and workflows. No matter where you started, no matter what functionalities you wanted, you put into place, no matter which languages you originally
Yeah.
chose. And I've always been a big fan of ServiceNow for that. And now that they are at the multi-billion-dollar level, that rigor is really going to really be very useful to them. And now the sky's the limit, honestly. Even in these areas that they've started to dig into from an industry perspective, I feel like ServiceNow is really just in the beginning stages, the baby steps. Like in CRM, obviously, there's so much room for them in CRM, financial close or financial management. There's so much room for ServiceNow to exceed where they are right now. And really, for them, it's just a matter of being able to execute across all these industries and all these verticals.
And it's also interesting to note that from an engineering perspective, they've not been standing still since 2018.
Mhm.
They've actually done a lot of under the covers engineering to make sure that what you consider a ServiceNow instance to be is a lot more efficient. It's a lot more scalable than it has been in the past.
Mhm.
So I think that they're justifiably seeing return on investment for a lot of the work that they've been doing.
Excellent. Yeah. And then the final thing I'd put out there is that we've talked a lot about over the years about the golden system of record or the system of truth. And ServiceNow has done a great job of also creating a kind of a dictionary, a catalog of workflows of truth or workflows of that are trusted at an enterprise level, and using that as a defining point for showing what an enterprise platform looks like. I think ServiceNow's ability to be able to not just talk about data, but about work and automation at a time when we are talking about the agentic, this next world of agentic stuff. To get to agentic stuff, you have to first have defined workflows and metadata and all of that ugly, boring stuff in the middle. And I think ServiceNow has done a good job of defining that, where everybody else just wants to say, magic metadata,
Yeah, exactly.